Hey y'all, happy Tuesday, no, happy Wednesday, day after election day. I'm not gonna get into that here, but I'm gonna talk through about the footers that we had to put in for the new beam and some walls we're doing in the basement. So that's what this video will be about. It's going to go through cutting them in and then the concrete and then a little bit more of the concrete. So we'll start here. The first thing you'll see here is the what they did was they sprayed a little bit of lacquer, or not lacquer, or nail polish remover or something, clear coat, so that they could mark cover up the lines with that, so that they're preserved when they're spraying water on the surface there, so that they can see their line cuts. And so they did that, and there's a couple saw types that they used. This is just pretty standard floor saw that's supported by water, and then they have the vacuum here that picks up all that slurry, and they take that out in buckets. But what you see here, him doing here, is it wasn't cutting very well initially, and this is a borrowed saw that they had. He had put one into the shop, and they gave him this one. Apparently the blades weren't that good, and what he's doing is hitting it with this piece of I'm not sure exactly what the thing that you call it was, but let's see if I can get back there. But you see this here in his hand, and you see him hitting the blades, and I don't remember what that's called specifically, but he was hammering that, and that was supposed to be helping sharpen the blades. So I'm not exactly sure how that exactly works, but anyways, here they are cutting through. There's three interior footers that needed to be cut, and some exterior things that needed to be cut. And so what they did here is they cut 4 sides with that, and then what they did in the middle here was they scored this little spot here, and basically they'll wedge a piece of wood in here, and that's what they use to leverage the concrete to pick it up and get it out of the ground. And you'll see that happen here. That's them just scooping up that slurry. That's them putting that piece of wood in, and they were using that bar to help them leverage that out a little bit, creep it up, and then cut a little bit deeper there, and they picked it up and pulled it out. And so what you see here, the guy that built this house was a tile professional, and you can even see in the ground that there's like these old subway tiles that they probably buried there that got pulled up here. So then they go to the second one here, and all that's a hydraulic concrete saw. So it's not super heavy, but it cuts relatively quickly. But with that, you get not flush cuts, you get overcuts, right? Like you're going to have how roughly about 4 inches, however deep the concrete is about what you'll get for the overcut. And so that didn't matter, that didn't bother me here in the basement. Did in the exterior of the house, and we'll talk about that saw when we get there. And so same process here, they'll wedge that piece of wood in. This 3rd footer was the largest. It was a 3 foot 4 inch by 3 foot 4 inch, and you can even see here I have the wall getting short, the beam getting shored up over here, because I removed a post here, and that post is basically where we're putting the new footing, and then the new post will be centered like right around here for that support. But look how small that guy is compared to, 3 foot 4 inch that's spec'd in by my engineer. And so what happened here was we're redrawing those lines because his cut was just a little bit off, and so I just wanted to get that because of the water was obscuring his view. So he cut that guy out. Obviously it's a little bit bigger, so I cut it into 2 separate halves, and then pulled it out the same way he did the other one. He'll score each of those quadrants, and then pull that out just like the other ones. But overall, that we lost some power there. Overall, relatively simple work. And then after that, you'll see when we get into the concrete area, concrete pour, that like all this, which is pretty much sand, I had to dig a foot out of each of these footers to give me the right clearance from what my engineer had spec'd in for each of those. Out here, what you're seeing is, so we are putting new drainage in, and we do have a downspout, or a whoops, let me get rid of that guy. We had a downspout that was going to exit out of the side of this retaining wall about right here, and then go down into the concrete, and then out this way. And so I needed them to cut a flush cut this time that area. And so you'll see he'll use this chainsaw, which gives you the flush cut, but he says it's a little beefier, it's a little harder, not, I want to say harder to use, but more duress on your body. So they cut that out, and obviously you see it's nice and flush there. Same principle. They'll for this guy, they won't pull it out, they'll jackhammer the rest of that out. And then over here I have 2 trench drains going in on the in front of this door, so we'll have one drain in front here, right about here, and then I'll have one on the inside right about here. And the one on the inside is just really a fail-safe for me, like why they're here cutting and why I'm setting this up. I thought that it's best to at least have another drain on the inside, just in case anything happens with this guy, gets clogged, etc. Let's throw another one in there, and had them cut that one in as well. And so same thing with the chainsaw, I wanted it flush cuts. You'll see him use this saw here for some of the cut, basically from here to like here, and then he'll flush cut just the little edges by the wall, so he can use this, which is an easier saw for him to manage, and then they'll flush cut that with the chainsaw. And then so we'll get to the concrete pour now, and so what you can't hear me saying here is basically these are 2 feet by 2 feet, and have a 1.5 inch perimeter around between the rebar and the earth, and then a 3 inch up from the bottom of the ground to the bottom of the rebar, with those up on the for the above floors. And they just kind of crank through most of this. I thought I had this on fast speed, and maybe it's not till the next sequence. We'll see here in a second. But This was a 6-sack mix. I forget the slump. You see it dobied up there as well. And that was the foot I had to dig out, 12-inch depth on those footers there. Yeah, I speed it up some. And so they start cranking through these. That vibrator he had was amazing, you know, that zipped through. That was the best concrete vibrator I've seen in a long time. Just really did a number on that. They just kind of crank through things here. I'll let some music pick up, and then what I'll do is I'll chime in when I think there's something worth talking about. So right here, this was the big mama. This was this was a 40-incher. So this was 40 by 40 by 40 by 40, and then 12 down with a 5 by 5 grid. Same 1.5-inch margin on the outside, 3-inch up from the base for the rebar. And so that was that for that footer. So here is the we have those trench drains. So this is the interior one, and what you'll notice here is we just use some pink bar for to hold the trench drain in place, and that's what you see there, that little bit of pink bar as the anchor for that drain. This is relatively light pour. They're just scooping it in over that board just to have that act as a slide down there to get the concrete in. And then we have some plastic there covering up the drain. It's there. So right there, he's just making sure he's getting vibrating underneath this drain to make sure the concrete fills under there. So if anyone steps on this, that it's got some substance underneath it. So he's just vibrating that concrete to get under there. Go finish that off in a little bit. So this up top, right here, we put in hard pipe that goes back here and catches a downspout on the back of the building, as there was none. And catches this downspout here, which goes underneath this trench drain. This trench drain is going to catch any surface water from the wall and from the concrete, and then this will obviously, the downspout will catch it from the roof, and they're just filling in this part of the concrete. And you'll see here, he put in some rebar dowels so that when the concrete is poured, it's locked into this slab as best as it could, so that you don't get any sinking from that pour that's going to happen in that trench there. So you can see those dials a little bit better here. Right there. There's one there. Sorry, that's not one. There's another one on that side.
Like licorice and peppermint, you taste like the truth. You've everything that I could ever desire inside of you. We could be Amity Lou, or maybe Lulu and Hoots. This love is nothing more than what I'm expecting to give to you, and that is everything. Love is untamed, it's a deadly thing. It kills all caution. I accept you in every way. I know that it frees me from every hurt that I've ever caged. Knowing you exist in this life raises every pain. So what comes next? Will I write you an essay or kiss you on the neck? I wanna eat you in the morning while I'm on my back. They say that nothing lasts forever, nah. Loving you is permanently etched into my heart and skull.
So that's about it. We finished. We meaning like, I'm just helping them scrape some concrete in here, but they finished this out, and then just did some finish work on that. And I added some color to this just because very rarely can you get two types of concrete to match, and I went with a pretty dark gray. I probably would go lighter next time. I don't love it, I don't hate it, but it was something I wanted to try, so it was just a powder that they put on there and they worked in there, just to help differentiate, because you never get two concretes to match, and it never looks typically very good, in my opinion.